What's up, Taiwan?
Hello, everyone. I'm Amanda.
Good evening, I'm Raphael.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Okay.
for us.
Okay, you took my phrases.
Sorry about that.
Okay, what's we were talking about last time?
Last time we were talking about how Jiang Zhongzhen took over Taiwan and why we left United Nations.
Yes, and today the content is a bit serious today because we are going to discuss about is Taiwan a part of China? So
yeah, that is the current hottest issue.
So let's get started.
Okay, let's do it. As to the change of Taiwanese international position and famous historical events, I think we are living in the age of the explosion of information. You may get any data on internet by finger clicking. We don't detail the conversion of Taiwanese living nowadays or economical ups and downs because we might have relevant topics for more details in the future. Before we finish the last episode of Taiwanese history, I boldly want to ask a question. Is Taiwan a part of China?
To make clear first, this podcast doesn't have any stereotypical position. We don't want to be biased on any sides. We merely want to set up the support with reasons and logic through discussion and debates, and do not support or protest just because people say so. We truly with Taiwanese would develop the ability of higher level insight and try to see the bigger picture. Don't keep restricting ourselves in what we see in front of us only.
Let's start with the national titles. The People's Republic of China, known as China today. The Republic of China, we call it Taiwan more nowadays. Maybe only Chinese and Taiwanese could tell the slightly difference between these two formal English titles. They're really confusing for foreigners.
When it mentions races, the land of China has been large and wide since long ago. Han race or Zhonghua race, that we often call, have gone through a few domination periods by non-Han races. The last Chinese authority before ROC was built by Manqing race. There's a same situation in Taiwan. The original was Austronesian, but the first Dutch authority in the south, Spain in the north. The Chinese and the Japanese mixed blood, Zheng Chenggong, brought the first small group of Han people, and the Japanese ruled this island for a half-century. Taiwanese DNA have been complex for decades. Should I say DNA has?
I don't know.
Excuse me about our grammatical mistakes. Okay. Generally, we only could say we are all Chinese, a kind of Chinese.
As for language, we all use Chinese, yet Taiwan inherits the origin of Chinese written character. It's named Traditional Chinese, PRC went through the May 4th movement, then announced a plan to simplify Chinese character in 1956 and published the Summary of Simplified Chinese. They regarded traditional Chinese as wrong since that time.
About the lifestyles, we cannot deny you can see many familiar habits as modern Chinese after a few times of Chinese immigration. Yet, if you observe carefully, you can find out many differences. Let's talk about faith and the religions. Taiwanese have full freedom to worship any gods they believe in, which you may tell from the variety of many kinds of temples, except the latest period of the imperialization movement under Japanese domination. Taiwanese was forbidden to worship any traditional gods. In China, you need to pay for visiting a temple. And the most astonishing is temples in China look nearly the same. I couldn't be sure it is because the Cultural Revolution they destroyed every temple during that time and then they rebuilt temples by the same blueprint or not. This is my personal speculation according to my experience in Shanghai for 2 years and the visits for a number of olden street and the relics.
The part of food and drink, rice is the main staple for both of us. Nevertheless, Taiwanese have focused on healthier diets for years, promoting eating less salt and less oil, even less ingestion of carbohydrate. China is a huge country with 1.4 billion populations. My ex-coworker sitting next to me still needs 2 bowls of rice and the main course for a meal. But our job doesn't require much labor. They eat mostly meat and it is the common eating habits for Chinese. They don't value vegetables.
There are so many differences of habits and customs to speak of. But, for example, the opinions on driving a car in a city. People living in Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung have different thoughts of it. We don't need to mention people living across the Taiwan Strait. Two sides don't have interaction for a half century. Of course, we might have different conceptions about living. My point of what they eat may not be persuasive enough.
Let's look at the political system and the consciousness of democracy. China has been opened in 1978, though the main point was on economy, not on political system. It's still one-party dominant system so far. All the officers are assigned by their central leader. The present leader of China, he even changed laws to make sure he could be the leader for endless terms. There's no one daring to shake his head. In Taiwan, citizens have full freedom to say anything in their mind, to do everything they want, as long as you don't hurt others.
Being an independent country, like American created their own national character, reinforced their own national consciousness. Taiwan has come to the similar stage, we cannot deny we have Han people's blood in our bodies. Or should I say Chinese blood? We couldn't reject our culture largely comes from China, though obviously the new Taiwanese generation is growing. Perhaps this episode would be objectionable, even be titled as a podcast with Taiwan independent thoughts. Yet this is the price we need to tolerate if you want to enjoy the freedom of speech. We welcome different opinions to join our discussion. We only wish Taiwanese remember to look into facts, find truth. Do not just follow others blindly.
Okay.
It's
We
really
read a lot for audience.
It's really a lot to take in today, right?
Yeah. So I think our audience need time to digest those information.
Yeah. So we leave.
And we will discuss more next time about this issue we were talking about.
Yes. So this is not really the ending episode of history.
Yeah. So we hope that you can leave your comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. For us.
Yes. What do you think? Is Taiwan a part of China or not? And
Yes.
tell me the reason, please.
Yeah. And maybe we will discuss your opinions next time.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. For this series.
So
I think this is the end of the episode today. If you like our show, please subscribe our podcast and leave your comments in the reviews. And don't forget to share with your friends.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.